talk about Thunder and Lightning, if you could, Jeff.
Yeah, Thunder and Lightning. Actually, I just saw Clark Haynes, who was Thunder, this past weekend, and he's doing very well. He lives in Winter Haven, Florida, and as big as a house, as you can imagine. He was always the bigger of the two of us, and that was the very first wrestling gimmick, I guess you want to say, that we came up with was Thunder and Lightning, and we were in actually the IWF, the International Wrestling Federation, which was out of Orlando. Eddie Mansfield ran that.
Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie Mansfield. I know he's out there somewhere. And we actually trained at Steve Kern's school over in Tampa, Florida. And yeah, Thunder and Lightning, that's what we took to WCW. We were the IWF Tag Team Champions in that organization, and then went to WCW actually as Thunder and Lightning, and ended up down at the power plant. They're working to get better, and yeah, that was the very first wrestling we did. And I was just telling them about the very first match that Clark and I ever had as professional wrestlers was a TV taping. So the very first match we ever did as pros was televised. You know, we worked a lot of matches with the Harlem Heat in the WCW at that time, early on. And that was great. We enjoyed working with those guys. They were two big, guys to work with, and we had some really good matches, and that was a fun run. So that's a good memory. We were running some small towns around Georgia and Alabama, and that was when they were running, I think, two different shows, an A team and a B team kind of a thing, and so we got to do a lot of those, and it was a lot of fun.
When the Cobra idea came out, the whole concept and the look, that was all yours.
Yeah, I came up with that. Actually, I was Thunder and Lightning had kind of dissolved as a tag team, and I was really not sure if I was even going to stay in wrestling at that time. And Dallas Page, one of the guys that I knew from the power plant, and said, "Hey, you should do it. You need to just stay in it, don't get out." And so I said, okay. So I started going down back to the power plant, and I'd only wrestled as a tag, really. I hadn't wrestled as a single. And he said, yeah, you should do it. And so I came up with the Cobra character. I just thought it would be kind of cool to have like a paramilitary type character, and just came up with the idea. And then we were wrestling at Center Stage, and Flair was the booker at the time, and Flair said, I know you can work, just come on down and we'll do something. So I ended up going down to Center Stage and started working as Cobra.
What are your memories of Center Stage? WCW held most of that TV tape there for the longest time.
Yeah, it was a good place. It was a great venue. All the big stars were there back then, back in the day, and it was a nice venue to film in.
Can you tell us about, you were NWO Sting for a long time.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the process of becoming Super J?
Well, that's a good question. So NWO had a really good run, obviously, in Japan, in New Japan, and they were having problems in the States at the time with it had been running. I think there was some problem with one faction trying to take over another faction, and who was getting credit for the NWO. Anyway, it started kind of fizzing out in the United States. And of course, we followed suit right after that. I don't know if we had to, but I'm sure for legal reasons we couldn't continue to do the NWO characters over there. So actually, Masa Saito, who was my boss there and the booker, said, "We're gonna make you Super J." And I'm like, why Super J? What's that? I mean, my name was Jeff, so I think that's where they got the J from.
Must have been, yeah.
And he said, "Oh, it's easy for the Japanese to say."
Well,
so
it's a simple name, but it sounded cool. So, Super J.
Yeah. I said, whatever you want me to do.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, Super J initially was masked, right?
Yeah, I wore masks. They were kind of teaming me with, you know who it is. Who was Super Strong Machine.
Oh, Junji Harada.
Yeah, Harada. Yeah, Harada and I.
Oh, really? Okay.
We teamed up a little bit as the Super Strong Machines, or the Mass something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, Harada and I teamed up, and so I had to wear a mask, which is, I don't know if that's worse than paint or not. It's both of them are equally. Your peripheral vision is hard when you wear a mask. You can't really see as easy out the side, so you sometimes and the one I had like a little mesh over the eyes, so you really couldn't even see the eyes, which looked really cool, but it was like hard to see. So I wasn't a real big fan of the mask. I mean, I'm a big fan of the masks, like the luchadors in Mexico and people that wear the mask. I think it's awesome, but it's again, I think you either have to grow up doing it or get used to it, or it's a little foreign to put it on at that point. But I did what they told me.